guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha, and as you can see by the title of today's video, I'm going to be doing my third trimester recap. So I've already done a recap for my first trimester and second trimester, but this is actually the first one where I'm actually doing the recap during the trimester that I'm in. I actually filmed those two other ones while I was already in my third trimester. So this one is the most up-to-date. Disclaimer, if I am breathing very heavy, it's just because I am now 38 weeks and 2 days. So I'm pretty close to the finish line. She can come at any day now. And I'm definitely excited to no longer be pregnant. I feel like at this point, all I'm feeling is just different aches and pains on like times 100. I feel like the third trimester has really put me through it. I definitely believe when people say the first trimester and the third trimester are the worst and the second trimester is the best one, which is truly what it was for me. In the third trimester, honestly, I feel like it was worse than the first trimester, but I'll get into that. So if you're currently pregnant or just interested in watching, let's get into it. So I'm going to start with my symptoms. I haven't really tracked any of my symptoms from the very beginning in any particular order, so I'm just going to go through it as I wrote them down, but some of them came earlier and later on in the third trimester, but a lot of them did last the entire third trimester as well. So to start, I had very extreme feet swelling. Swollen feet is really common for pregnancy, but I feel like mine were like really swollen according to what people were telling me. Even at one of my recent appointments, one of the nurses who was taking my vitals before the doctor saw me was in complete shock when she saw my feet. She was just like, whoa, like everyone keeps telling me it's a lot. So they tell me to put my feet up, drink more water, limit my salt intake. I feel like I've tried pretty much everything and they just get swollen. I think if I'm on my feet a lot or if I'm sitting down for too long, that's when it really gets really bad. I work from home, but I do work at a desk, so I am sitting down for a long period of time. But this past week I have been working more from bed, which I think has helped a lot with minimizing the swelling. I have tried drinking more water, which I'm not sure if it helped a lot, but I'm sure it's helped in some capacity. But overall, my feet are just always swollen. It's just sometimes it's a little bit less than others. So another thing is Braxton Hicks. In my second trimester recap, I did say I started experiencing some Braxton Hicks contractions every now and then. I think I probably got it maybe once in the third trimester, probably when I was around 7 months or so, but I haven't really gotten anything else. So that's good, but I've experienced all these different aches and pains. So honestly, it's like I just traded one thing for a bunch of other things. On the topic of aches and pains, my back started hurting a lot. So as my belly has grown, it's gotten a lot heavier and I've definitely felt the strain on my back. One of my friends did get me this belly band thing to help, but I don't think it really helped me that much, or maybe I was wearing it wrong. So it's basically a band to support the weight of your belly and alleviate any kind of strain on your back, but I honestly didn't really see that much of a difference. Truthfully, I didn't really wear as much as I probably should have, but yeah, that's definitely been a pain. I've also experienced some pelvic pain and pressure. So one of the things to expect while you're pregnant is for your pelvis to loosen or your pelvic bone to loosen. Essentially, this is just to allow you to give birth a bit easier, for the baby to fit through your birth canal. So yeah. But with that loosening up, I feel like it's just kind of painful and just not really comfortable at all. So I definitely feel more pressure there. I've definitely been short of breath, not much to explain there. There hasn't been much room for my lungs, so there's that. I did experience some iron deficiency. At one of my appointments, my doctor did say that I was iron deficient, but they prescribed some iron supplements, which I think made things fine. So after taking the supplements, my blood work was pretty normal. I've been using the brand Nature Made, which is the same brand that I use for my prenatals, and I think they're pretty good, so I have no complaints there. I feel like in the third trimester, my breasts got even bigger, which I'm not complaining about, but I feel like because I didn't have a big chest to begin with, there's just an adjustment where it's like they're just different things I'm not used to. So it's like my bras don't fit, and then on top of that, it's like I'm experiencing like more like boob sweat, which is normal. But as somebody who used to be a B cup, I never really experienced that or like this frequently. Granted, being pregnant has made me just really hot overall, so that's probably why, but I feel like it was just an adjustment. On top of that, my nipples have been very sore, but that's something that's been a thing since the first trimester. I did notice like a little tiny bit of leaking, not necessarily anything to actually show through like a shirt or anything, but just like a little tiny droplet of milk or colostrum or whatever it is. But it's nothing major, nothing that I could actually like see through anything, but I did notice that something's going on there. There was also a week or two where it was really difficult for me to sleep, so I definitely was experiencing some insomnia, which sucked. There was one night in particular where I don't think I slept at all. There was another night that I didn't sleep at all for a different reason, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, it's like my mind just wouldn't shut off. Now I'm sleeping a lot better and more comfortably, so I don't know what that was, but yeah, I'm definitely glad that that's over with. I have experienced more weight gain, which is normal. I'm definitely at the highest weight that I've ever been in my entire life, but it's for the sake of bringing a life into this world, so I'm okay with it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the weight will drop after I have her. And hopefully if I can get back into a fitness routine of some sort. I have been extremely tired. Well, I've been tired the whole pregnancy, but I do notice the last 4 weeks or so, like since I've been like from like being 8.5 months to 9 months pregnant, I've been really tired. So definitely more naps. Midday naps are essential. Okay. I've been way more thirsty, which is good because it's making me drink more water, but sucks because it's making me pee a lot more than I already have to pee. Literally last night, I think I got up like 7 times. Well, probably 6. I think it might have been 6 times, which I know some women, they start experiencing that from the first trimester, but I was never peeing that much in one night. Maybe like max would be like 4, but 6 was kind of extreme for me because I'm like 6 different times I had to wake up out of my sleep, walk to the bathroom, and yeah. And having to come back, get comfortable again. Like, it's been really annoying. But it's like when I'm sleeping, even if I feel the need to pee, I can't even hold it very long because it's like the pressure of, I guess, my belly on my bladder is more extreme at this point. So it's like I have to get up no matter what. One thing that's kind of weird is that I feel like my vision got worse. I already wear glasses to see like far or to read far, because I'm nearsighted. I think that's what that means. So I wear glasses like if I'm driving or if I'm watching TV or something. But now I feel like my vision has gotten a little bit worse, and I've heard that that can be a thing and it should go back to what it was before pregnancy once I give birth, but I'm not even counting on that because my vision already wasn't the best anyway. I feel like my linea nigra got even darker than what it was in the second trimester, which isn't a big deal. I just feel like that's something I noticed. As for my belly button, it's definitely not a innie anymore. It's not quite an outie, but it's not an innie. Like, I can't put my finger in it or anything. It's kind of just like flat, if that makes sense. Overall, my skin is doing pretty well. If you watched my second trimester recap, you would have known that one of the things that I was experiencing was hives, or like dealing with like itchy skin. Basically just dealing with like skin irritation and itchiness. So that went away completely. I have not experienced that at all really in the third trimester. I think maybe just once, and it was very minor and it didn't last very long. So that's a relief. So the last 2 symptoms I'm going to talk about were probably the most annoying symptoms that I had in the third trimester. One of them being a yeast infection and the other one being a external hemorrhoid. So I'll start with the yeast infection because that's what happened first. With that, I didn't even know what it was because I've never had one before, but it was just so annoying to deal with. It was just like a constant itchiness that never subsided. I kind of waited a while to bring it up to my doctor, so it kind of went away on its own. But when I did bring it up, they prescribed some antibiotics and some kind of cream thing, and it was definitely fine after that. But while I was dealing with it, it was probably a good like 2 weeks, and it was like excruciatingly just irritating. But like I said, I've never experienced that before, so I didn't even know what it was. I thought maybe it was just extra stuff going on down there. I don't know. So the other thing was that I did experience an external hemorrhoid, which was extremely painful. If you don't know what a hemorrhoid is, it's basically just like a swollen blood vessel, I think it is. I'll put the definition on the screen so you can get a more accurate idea of what it is, but it can be pretty common for pregnant women because of the pressure that is sitting on that area. And it can also happen like if you're straining from like constipation and things like that, which I wasn't dealing with. So I guess like the extreme pressure of my belly growing caused that to happen. And when I tell you it was painful, it was painful. It was literally, I can't even describe the pain. It was just like, it wasn't throbbing, it wasn't a sharp pain, it was just like an extreme soreness, and like I couldn't even sit comfortably, I couldn't walk comfortably. There was one night in particular where it was really bad, where I did not get a wink of sleep because of how painful it was. And I had a doctor's appointment like 2 days after that, and I just had to go the next day and push my appointment up earlier. I just needed them to do something for me. Unfortunately, the doctor said that there wasn't much they could do, so he just told me I could use something topical like Preparation H, which I ended up picking up at Walgreens. And I did use Dermaplast as well, and some Tux witch hazel wipes that I packed for my hospital bag, so that came really handy. And between those three, after a few days, the pain did gradually get a lot better. And now I don't have anything at all. But that was honestly like probably one of the worst things I've experienced in my pregnancy so far. Another thing is that I finally got stretch marks. So I didn't get any stretch marks in the first or second trimester, and even I would say probably like a good month into my third. So they're kind of just towards the bottom of my belly, and they're really light. I don't really care about them. Like, I'm not someone who stresses over things like that, but it is something that I noticed. As for cravings, I haven't had anything too crazy like I did in the second trimester, but I did start craving some things that I usually don't eat, such as Chipotle. I used to eat Chipotle a lot like years ago when I was in college, but I completely stopped eating that. Like, I was not a fan of Chipotle anymore, but for some reason I was craving it again. So I've had quite a few Chipotle bowls. I've also been craving a lot of salads. So I like salads from this place called Just Salad. I don't know if you guys know what that is or if it's in your area, but I've been craving like a basic like Caesar salad, nothing like too intricate. Just some basic greens with some chicken and Caesar dressing and croutons usually does a trick for me. I have been craving ice cream from McDonald's pretty frequently. So there was just one day that I really wanted these like soft serve like cone at McDonald's, but after that I started getting tired of the cones because they get kind of messy because you have to hold them. So I started eating the caramel sundaes. At some point my boyfriend was bringing them for me like every day or every other day when he would come home from work. It's slowed down now and I don't really crave them as much, but it definitely was my thing for a little bit. Another thing that I've been into is yogurt. So I've really been liking yogurt. I've always kind of liked yogurt, but I've really been liking it lately. I've also been enjoying like basic like sandwiches with like sliced bread, American cheese, mayo, and some deli meat. Obviously you can't have like regular deli meat when you're pregnant, so I do heat it up, but I don't know why I've been enjoying that. So I'll just have like a little sandwich with like turkey meat or like whatever in it, and I don't know why, like for some reason that's like really good to me. Other than that, I pretty much just crave like regular things and like sweets. I've always craved sweets, so I'm not gonna list all the sweet cravings that I've had, but yeah, just candy, cookies, muffins, things like that. I don't eat all those things all the time, but sometimes I have to give into it. A few other updates. Baby's head is definitely down, so she's in position, ready to go. So they did a fetal growth scan a few weeks ago when I was 36 weeks, I think. So basically they were just checking how big she is and checking her growth. I think at the time she was 5 pounds 10 ounces, and she was within range of whatever baby's sizes should be at that time. She's definitely gotten bigger since then. I'm pretty sure she's like 7 pounds at this point. Her movements feel more like rolls and like she's like grinding against my skin now rather than like regular kicks that I used to feel before. It's just crazy how like it went from like little flutters and like the tiniest little taps to like, you know, little punches and kicks and things like that, to like now it's like I can feel her like rolling and moving and doing these crazy things. But yeah, and sometimes it's really strong and really uncomfortable. She definitely hits my bladder quite a few times. But yeah, overall she's just active in there doing her thing. I did pre-register at the hospital that I will be delivering at, and I also did register for a tour to kind of take a look at the maternity or labor and delivery department. I don't know, but I ended up missing it, so I'm just gonna have to show up and be, but I ended up missing it, unfortunately. So I guess I'll just find out whenever the time comes and I have to give birth. But I'm pretty sure things are pretty standard there. They said that they do have private suites. They do encourage like mother-baby care. So the baby will be in the room with me the whole time unless it is medically necessary that she has to go into a different room or whatever. I pray that that's not the case. And they do have a place for the dad or whoever the support person is to sleep in the room. I'm not sure how comfortable it is, but you know, they'll have to make it work. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like very generic hospital things. Like, I don't think it's that fancy, but I did also register for a Lamaze class at the hospital. So the class is actually 3 parts, and I went to the first class and missed the second class. And the third class is actually tomorrow, so we'll see if I make it. In the class, I'm not really learning anything that I don't already know at this point, so I don't know how useful it is, but maybe because I'm really close to the end of my pregnancy, there's a lot that I've already like learned on my own and things I've asked my doctor and things people have told me, so there wasn't really anything new that I was learning, but they did give quite a bit of good information. I think it'll be really useful for somebody who's maybe in like the 20 something weeks range. But yeah, like I said, the class is at the hospital that I will be delivering at. Unfortunately, again, I didn't get to see anything of how the rooms look like, so it was just in like a regular classroom kind of setting. So when I was 34 weeks, I did have my baby shower, so that was pretty nice. It came together pretty well. Certain things didn't go completely as planned, but I do feel like it turned out really well. I feel like people had fun and I had a good time. We got a lot of great gifts from people who came out to support, so I was really appreciative of that. So I did pack my hospital bag at 35 weeks. I did make a video talking about what I packed in my hospital bag. I'm not sure if that'll be posted before or after this video. So I've done that. I packed my stuff in a carry-on. I packed baby stuff in her diaper bag, so we're pretty much all set just in case anything happens at any time. 35 weeks is a bit early, but I feel like once you're pushing like the 5 weeks left or 4 weeks left mark, like it could happen at any time. So I did pack it at that point. And something else I started doing at 35 weeks is drinking raspberry leaf tea. So I heard a few good things about it and how it helps tone your uterus and prepare your uterus for labor, and I think it helps like with your cervix or something. I don't remember all the details. In the video, I'll insert a list of what the benefits are for raspberry leaf tea, but yeah, that's something that I've been drinking to kind of prep that region to do its thing. I don't know if it will really work. Some women said it did wonders, and by the time they gave birth, like their labor was 2 hours or 3 hours or 5 hours. And then there are some people who said they drank raspberry leaf tea and they were in labor for like 36 or like 45 hours. So we'll see how it works out for me. I pretty much drink like 1 tea packet a day. Sometimes I drink 2. I might up it up to 2 a day now that I'm 38 weeks, but I don't know how much of a difference it'll make. So just like in my second trimester recap, my exercise is still very minimal, probably even less this trimester, honestly. But when I do, it's usually just walking or using my birthing ball to just kind of get some stretches in and like open up my pelvic region or whatever. But I'm not doing anything too intense at this point. So whatever happens, happens. I have been nesting like crazy, so I feel like I've been a crazy person. I'm always cleaning, always arranging things. All of her stuff is pretty much set up and put away, but it's like I feel like I need to have like everything in the house like just perfected. I just feel like I need to have everything in the house just like up to par at all times, like just in case she happens to come today. Like I want to come back to like everything organized and clean and all of that. But it's almost like I'm expecting like some kind of celebrity or like some, I don't know. Well, she's a VIP. You would think that I'm expecting some like, oh my gosh, like whatever, and not just a baby. But yeah, I've been nesting like crazy. Her car seat was already installed in the car, but we took it out just so we can have room for right now. But we'll put it back once the time comes and like we're ready to go to the hospital, because obviously we need to take her home in it. But another thing is that I've been very gassy. I've been really gassy from the second trimester, honestly, which I forgot to mention in my second trimester recap. But yeah, I've been really gassy, like burping, farts, which is pretty normal for a pregnant woman. So even though like those things are kind of gross, it's like if you're pregnant, you really can't help it. Like it's just how it is. But yeah, gassiness has definitely been a major thing. And something that we've been doing to kind of interact with her a little bit while she's still in the womb is reading to her and playing music. So sometimes we'll read one of the books that we've gotten her, or somebody else has gotten her at our baby shower. And we'll just take like 10 minutes to just read a book, play some music, and feel her moving around. At this point, she definitely can recognize like sound and our voices. Pretty sure she recognizes my voice for sure. But yeah, that's something that I feel like has been really cute. Bonding time with the 3 of us. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my third trimester recap. The third trimester has definitely been a lot of getting things together, planning, mental preparation, physical preparation for whenever the time comes. So I feel like it's definitely tiring. At this point of my pregnancy, I feel very exhausted. So I am ready for it to be over. But I know I'll still be exhausted because I'll have a newborn, but it'll be a different kind of exhaustion. But yeah, and you guys are probably wondering what my belly looks like at this point. So this is the first recap where I can accurately show you on camera what my belly looks like. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, I'm wearing this sweater that does not cover my whole belly, but yeah, it's pretty big, pretty round. I don't know if you can see the stretch marks here, but yeah, that's what I'm working with at 38 weeks. Definitely ready to pop. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you haven't gotten a chance to watch my second and first trimester recap, you can go back and watch those. I have other videos related to my pregnancy journey, so you can take a look at those as well. I will leave my socials in the description box where you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. But yeah, if I'm not forgetting anything, I think that's all I have for today. So on that note, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.